Hello and welcome to the first episode of The Minimalist Backpacker. I'm Adam Seaver and I will be your host. So this being our first episode, I thought I'd give you a little background on myself, a little discussion about my philosophy for evaluating backpacking topics and backpacking gear, and then we'll jump into our first review. So I'm Adam Seaver. I have quite a bit of backpacking experience, most notably a thru hike at the Appalachian Trail. For those of you who don't know, that means I spent 5.5 months living out of a backpack as I hiked 2,174 miles from Georgia to Maine. So I spent a lot of time getting acquainted with the gear and developed some pretty strong opinions. And so those opinions I could summarize as lightweight. As you might expect, I'm a big fan of the ultralight philosophy in terms of gear. But occasionally I differ with those guys, and usually it's in durability. Stuff needs to last for a really long time because, on a long hike it can be kind of difficult to replace gear very easily along the way. And so a lot of times the really ultralight stuff will wear out faster than it is convenient to replace. So durability is really important. Simplicity. Any moving part is a part that can break. So I'd always go for the simplest possible solution that gets the job done, usually. Small is important for a couple of reasons. Small obviously means you can carry a smaller pack, and so there's less weight normally. But additionally, it affects the center of gravity on your back. You want things to be as tight and compressed as possible, and it also affects camping when you're packing and unpacking, which you have to do every single day that you're on a trip. Small stuff is just easier to manage. So that's our philosophy for evaluating gear, and so let's jump right into our first review. Today we're talking about the Granite Gear Vapor Trail. Any thru hiker has seen this one before, but also a pretty mainstream audience. The Granite Gear Vapor Trail is available at REI, which is maybe a little bit rare for this show to find things that are available for the mass market. But I think it's made its way up there because of its great features. So some of those features that I really like: it's got a single compartment, so everything goes in the same sleeve. You need to empty it out, you just dump it out and pour it onto the ground. You don't have to worry about digging through lots of pockets to find things. So that single compartment makes it very lightweight. They estimated about 2.5 pounds, depending on the size. Which definitely puts it into a light category. There are some lighter packs out there, but I have not found one that has all of the great features this one does. It's 3,600 cubic inches, which is, a little bit larger. You wouldn't consider that a day pack. I think that they put that into the overnight range, but I've certainly carried it for up to a week without resupply, so it's a good size for something more like a thru hike. If you wanted something for more of an overnight trip, we'll talk about some other potential options for that. But another great feature that it has are these load lifters. These are a key feature that a lot of the really simple packs don't have, and they keep the weight of the pack more on your back and your hips and less on your shoulders, which even on a day hike, you're going to really experience the difference. It sounds like one of those marketing features, but it's actually really important. So load lifters are key, and the roll top enclosure. This is something that may seem non-obvious at first. It may actually seem to be a pain to have to unroll this every time you want to get into the pack, but it's really useful as what I call burst storage. So if it's a rainy day and then it becomes sunny and then it becomes rainy again, you can always just kind of stash your rain gear in the top compartment. If you pick up a pizza or a tub of ice cream, which absolutely happens on a thru hike, it's a great place to just put some extra stuff and keep it contained inside your pack. So the roll top is actually really convenient when you have just temporarily stuff that won't quite fit into the tight central pocket. As far as some downsides, it's not waterproof. Most packs aren't. There have been some new ones that have come out that I've found to be inadequate. Usually, at least on the REI side, they're going to be because they have too many features, too much weight, and generally it isn't worth it. The trade-off for the loss of the interior waterproofing, which I think we'll talk about in another episode, for the addition of that exterior waterproofing. Really not a whole lot of other downsides. It comes with an inner sleeve for hydration for like a camelback. I'll talk about hydration in another episode, but the inner sleeve, it just catches on things most of the time. I'm not a big fan of the hydration pouches, so the first thing I did was cut the sleeve completely out, and it was perfectly fine. So those are my main downsides. So some other competitors for the Granite gear in terms of the greatest backpack in the world would be other Granite gear backpacks. They make a Virga, which is a little bit smaller at 3,200 cubic inches, which is a little bit small for a thru hike. If you're looking at doing an overnight trip, it'd be a good choice, the Virga. But for a little bit longer and for other uses like travel, where you're leaving the country and doing backpacking around Europe or something like that, the Vapor Trail is just a little bit better size in my opinion. I'm sure some of the ultralightists may disagree with me there. Other options would be the other options from Granite Gear. They have some bigger backpacks. They don't have the roll top though, which is something that I've really liked on my thru hike and something that I would miss in a different bag. For a non-Granite Gear option, the Seal line of boat bags. I know what you're thinking. The boat bags are a completely different choice, but from these traditional backpacks, but they actually almost get there. Basically, the idea with a boat bag is a big waterproof sack that has these straps on it. The theory being that with your bed pad and your tent poles, you can provide most of the stability that you would get with something like this in terms of back support. This has a foam pad, but really in the day-to-day it's not too necessary. In the summertime you like it for the wicking, but you can get by without it. The problem with the boat bags is that I haven't found one with load lifters. And so if they ever came out with a boat bag that was waterproof and had load lifters, that might be something that I would consider pretty seriously for a thru hike, crazy as that may sound. But otherwise, this is still the undisputed king. I think the marketing materials say 40% of all Appalachian Trail thru hikers carry them, and with good reason. So that about wraps it up for our first episode of The Minimalist Backpacker. Thanks.